FBI is now looking into the security of the private email server that Hillary Clinton used during her tenure as Secretary of State. Now, the investigation comes after government watchdogs raised red flags about classified material possibly being shared or stored on her server. Here at the very latest is Ed Henry.
Sean, when your team has to again stress technically you're not under criminal investigation, as Hillary Clinton's allies did today for the second time in 3 weeks, your campaign has hit turbulence. Fox has confirmed the FBI has launched an investigation into the security of her personal server. The Washington Post reporting that includes contact with a tech company that helped manage it. Advisors to Clinton stressed she's not the target of a criminal probe, similar to last month when it was revealed two inspectors general had determined there may be hundreds of classified emails in her server. And while it's true this is starting as an investigation of the server, that server, of course, was set up by Clinton. At the least, she will face political fallout from promises she made that have turned out not to be true, such as saying there was no classified information in the server. That has impacted the poll numbers. You can see now in New Hampshire, there's a poll that suggests that Bernie Sanders is only 6 points down from Clinton in New Hampshire, that key first-in-the-nation primary state. The station's pollster declaring it's basically a statistical tie. Clinton's advisors tell me they think the poll shows that actually Sanders is leveling off, and in the end, they're going to win this nomination. Sean?
And thanks, Ed. Joining me now with reaction, Fox News senior judicial analyst, our friend Judge Andrew Napolitano. All right, two inspectors generals, not one, recommend this investigation. Does the FBI do non-criminal investigations?
No, the FBI investigates potential federal crimes or potential exposure for national security, which may be just exactly what Mrs. Clinton did by transferring and moving classified information through a non-classified venue. That's a felony for each piece of information she passed through.
Okay, if you look at how this entire server email system was set up, wasn't it designed to purposefully avoid congressional investigations and subpoenas? Wasn't she thinking that far out ahead?
I think she was not only, you're exactly right, I think she was also thinking about history. I think she wanted to whitewash part of her tenure as Secretary of State, something that the statutes were written to prevent her from doing, unless she broke the statutes by sending all the emails through her server.
Okay, she denied that there were any classified documents on her email system or server.
She cannot deny that any longer.
Well, they only looked at the 40 and they saw 4. So that means that in and of itself, is that not a violation of law, or is it?
It absolutely is, but it's worse than that. I saw emails, not the ones that the inspectors general saw. I saw emails that have been revealed under the Freedom of Information Act. And in them, she's discussing the location of French fighter jets during the NATO bombardment of Libya, how big the no-fly zone is, where the no-fly zones are, and are you ready for this? The location of Ambassador Stevens, who, of course, was murdered, in Libya. If that is not classified, if she didn't think that was classified, she has no business being in public office.
There are 30,000 emails that we're told she deleted, more than she actually saved.
Right.
Then the server was destroyed. I got to ask, does that now raise questions of possible potential charges of obstruction of justice?
It depends on when the server was destroyed, how it was destroyed, and who destroyed it. But look, the timeline is very perilous for her because she doesn't even acknowledge that she has these things until after the New York Times report comes out. Then suddenly 33,000 emails are destroyed. They belong to the government. They didn't belong to her.
What about the thumb drive that David Kendall, her attorney, has?
He is not authorized to possess that. A, the documents belong to the federal government. B, we know there are documents in there that appear to be classified, and he lacks a classified security clearance. She lacks the classified security clearance. Whoever's running the Clinton server lacks a classified security clearance.
Did you read that the person that put that server up has little experience in terms of security, cybersecurity?
Correct.
So what are the odds that Putin, the Chinese, or somebody else hacked into that server?
Well, we already know that her most frequent emailer, her good friend, nicknamed the Prince of Darkness, Sid Blumenthal, had his emails hacked. And we already know that she emailed with Mr. Blumenthal more than anybody else.
All right.
So the chances of bad guys having her confidential classified emails are pretty high.
Judge, compare this to the David Petraeus case.
General Petraeus was indicted for securing in an unlocked drawer in a desk in the study of his house confidential materials. Do you know what they consisted of? His daily calendars for the year and a half
And
was
he
running
nearly
the
went to
CIA.
jail and paid a massive fine.
Correct. And he was the victim of an FBI raid pursuant to a search warrant, a lawful raid.
Wait a minute, then why aren't they raiding Hillary's Chappaqua home?
That is what FBI agents and members of the intelligence community have been asking for the past 3 weeks. No answer yet.
You think we might come on Fox News alert? Hillary's home has been raided?
Only if the president personally authorizes it.
That'll never happen. Not this president.
I agree with you. I agree with you. And I think
if I did this,
that.
would you? I'd need a cake with a file in it, right?
Yes. Any judge.
Yes. Hannity would need a cake and a file. Hillary gets off.
Sean, any judge on the basis of the evidence we've discussed would have signed a search warrant if the FBI came to that judge with an application for one.
Do you think the odds are she's going to get caught? That there's too many moving pieces here? And
you know, it's interesting. I know you interviewed the Donald on your show today, and of course we're all going to be watching everything tomorrow night. He predicted she's going to get caught. I think he's right.
I agree. I think so.
It may not be the FBI, it may not be the president, it may be public opinion.
I may go to Russia and have a discussion with Vladimir and offer him a lot of money for the copy of the server that he has.
He probably has it.
So do the Chinese. All right, Judge.